Dylan and I recently watched the new Joseph Kosinski film, Top Gun Maverick. Dylan, give us an overall run-through. What happens in this film?
So after more than 30 years of being one of the best Navy aviators, Pete Mitchell is tasked to coach a group of very young but extremely talented aviators for a very highly dangerous mission.
Wow, very interesting, Dylan. Starting off with the positive of this film, I liked how they did bring this film series back. It had been around 35 years since the previous film, and I thought it was very cool seeing Tom Cruise with the glasses, the motorbike, the leather jacket, and it even had the iconic music playing, especially at the start, which I thought was very cool.
Well, something that Max just said there that I'm going to build on. The music in this film is composed by Hans Zimmer that we've seen in many other films, and he really brought an ominous grunge sound during the action scenes of this film. I thought they were great. I was on the edge of my seat.
Yeah, I have to agree. The music was excellent. It did really create a great atmosphere in this film. One thing that I liked in particular in this movie is how they included Rooster, played by Miles Teller. I just thought it was brilliant how they included Goose in the original film. It's his son. And then he also plays a song on the piano, the Great Balls of Fire song, which obviously Goose plays in the original film.
Well, Max, we did have a star-studded cast, didn't we, for this film? And who would be our star performer? I think I can have a guess.
Well, yes, it's obviously got to be Tom Cruise as Pete. He's just a brilliant actor, Tom Cruise, and he's brilliant in this film.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that, Max. He really does bring the franchise back, full of nostalgic moments, as we've just said. But one of the scenes that I really enjoyed, and I think you like this scene as well, it's actually it pulls on the heartstrings, actually, this scene. The one with Val Kilmer's Iceman. And I thought it was really good that he could get the role because, obviously, he has throat cancer now, and they've incorporated that in the writing of this story with his character, and that obviously led him to get the film without many lines.
Yeah, I have to agree. I did like the part with Val Kilmer. I thought it was great how they did bring his character back, you know, even if it wasn't for very long.
Yeah.
But as you were saying, it was rather sad because Iceman does actually die in this film. Yeah, it's quite sad, especially when Pete attends his funeral, because obviously they've been good friends for many years. So yeah,
bit of everything in this film. It was good at being. Well, he wasn't in it for long, but
yeah,
at least they brought him back. But one thing, moving on from this, one thing that I really liked about this film was that there's actually a lack of CGI, and obviously on this channel we've reviewed so many films where the third act is full of CGI and spaceships and whatnot. But in this film, it's all practical effects, and I thought that really brings the viewer into the story that they're trying to tell. And especially the final scene, this is actually my favourite scene of the film, when Rooster and Maverick are in the old jet from the first film and they're fighting the Mach 5 pilots. I thought that scene was great.
Oh yeah, the scene was brilliant. The ending was good in this film, I loved it.
Really good.
But my favourite scene in this film was probably the bit where Maverick was training the fighters, and they're all just saying this mission can't be done, you know, it's impossible. And then Maverick actually completed it on a test run, and they all just can't believe it. Because at this point, I was kind of like shocked because there was a time when I was watching this and I thought, wow, are they actually going to fail? Are they, you know, going to actually do this? But obviously Pete does it, and it's just brilliant.
It gives the audience a bit of hope, doesn't it?
It gives us a bit of hope, yeah.
Another gripping scene, as you've just said there, Max. But also another thing to add, yesterday actually, this film just hit 1 billion at the overseas box office. That's quite impressive.
Yeah,
Only 49 films have done that. That's
impressive.
That's very impressive. Yeah, it shows that the film's obviously a good sequel, and it relived the hype.
It did live up to the hype. Yeah. Overall, I like this film. It was definitely better than the first one, in my opinion. But there are some negatives in this film. To start, I thought it was slightly strange how they just introduced a completely new love interest for Pete. And they don't really talk about what happens to Charlotte from the first one, because obviously they're together in the first one, and they just don't talk about what happens to her. She's just not in it at all, which I thought was quite strange. They just have a new character. But to be fair, the actor that plays Penny, Jennifer Connelly, she was good in this film. I did like her in this film.
It was strange how they didn't bring her back. I thought that as well. But one thing that I thought they could have done better this time around was the story was a little bit predictable in some ways. There were a lot of stereotypes in this film. Obviously, we had the mean jock who turned out to be nice in the end. Came back, and I thought that was a bit by the books. But the thing that kind of annoyed me was the first scene, how it showed how Maverick could get to Mach 10, and then it showed it at the end. But we already knew that.
Yeah,
so
sure at the start.
They kind of ruined that. I don't know, it kind of ruined the expectation of the end, I guess. But overall, I really liked the first scene in the film. It's very entertaining.
Yeah, it's a good start, yeah.
Pretty good. And is there anything else that they could have done better?
I don't really think so. We've already said the negatives that we can think of. But to be honest, I would recommend you guys to watch this if you haven't already. Dylan, what would you give this film out of 10?
I'd probably have to say a crisp 8 to an 8.5. I thought it was a really good sequel.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I'd have to give it a solid 8 out of 10 as well.
Yeah. Well, as you guys can see here, there were positives and negatives for this film. I thought it was a pretty great sequel for the most part. Well, what did you guys think of Top Gun Maverick? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Let us know down below. And we'll see you guys later. Goodbye!